Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello! Look at this. We have been doing several podcasts in a row. I'm happy to be here at Podcastro Valley Mont.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Podcastro Valley Mont. It's episode 2296. It's been an interesting day. I'd like to fix it, but I can't because the day's over with and you just gotta move on sometimes. Learning to move on is an interesting thing that maybe I can make a rhyme, but I can't because the song's over with. Because the show is called
Mike's Daily Podcast.
in Podcastro Valley Mont, the last place on earth, cafe anyway. So,
Mike's
hey,
Daily
I think
Podcast.
that it's becoming incredibly real to me that I can't work from home anymore. Too much happens when I'm not actually in the office, physically there. Crazy stuff happens. Wow. And I was talking to someone today about how fun it is to be the middleman. The man in the middle. I'm looking at the man in the middle. Oh, it's me. So just that whole world. And oh my gosh, I'm looking at a podcast picture because I'm trying to find a podcast picture. I'm feverishly trying to find one. And oh my, there is such a glorious picture from 2 years ago with Basil the boxer. We walked over to, he was still able to sort of walk. I had to use a harness to move his back legs. So he was walking on his front legs. I was picking up the back legs. And we went to Lake Chabot and this beautiful area. I think I posted a picture from this back in 2000. I might post a picture of this. Actually, yes. I think that'll be the podcast picture. It was a hot day. It was nearly impossible to get him to the location where you see the podcast picture.
And here's today's podcast picture.
I thought for sure I was going to have to pick him up and carry him on the way back, but it ended up being a fun. We relaxed. It was a hot day under a shady tree. And you'll see the picture at mikesdailypodcast.com. The late, great Basil the boxer, who's going to say a few words for you right now. Nope, not right now. How about right now? Right here, right now. There is a bark from Basil the boxer. Yes, and getting him, so we basically went to this point. I think we had to turn right around and head back. Oh, it was tough. He was an 85-pound dog, and to pick up the back harness, the back legs, and then if he decided, it required him to carry a certain amount of weight with his front legs. If he decided, nope, I don't want to go any further, we would just have to stop. I mean, just to go just a couple of feet would take like an hour. It's crazy. Zoinks! I went all shaggy on you there. Wah, wah. Not that shaggy, but... So... I'll post the picture because it's cute and it's from 2 years ago. And so I was going to talk about being a man in the middle. Being the middle man. Or woman. And I was going to talk about that, but then I found something online about avoiding... This is a stretch. Literally, it's a spread. Avoiding middle age spread. Went from middleman to middle age spread. And here are some tips on how to avoid middle age spread. Now, the one good thing with the times that I was walking Basil and carrying his back legs was that I burned a lot of calories because it required a lot of strength and it was strenuous and hard work. The negative side, of course, was that I would just totally destroying my back and sweating and it was a lot of work. In the end, I don't know how much Basil really enjoyed it. I mean, in the podcast picture, you'll see he looks like he's pretty happy, but and then you get people seeing you do this And they're like, oh, poor dog. Oh. Well, he's old. And he's probably outlived many boxers. And this is a terrible disease that unfortunately a lot of boxers get called degenerative myelopathy. So he's actually doing pretty good and you should be applauding right now. At any rate, and I never did get applause for the hard work that I did with that dog, that wonderful dog. So, which by the way, it's interesting now, I seem to have 2 cats in my life that were wild, that needed someone, that were considered feral, and basically I didn't think I was going to adopt them, but they've adopted me. So there we go. They're really kind and sweet, and they let me pet them, and then they go out all night. But now it appears that they have recruited a friend, a possum, like a baby possum keeps walking into the house now. And at first I thought, what is that? And it came into the house a few nights ago, and then I got the cats to leave so the possum would leave, and he zoomed out of the house once I got the cats to get out of the way. And now apparently today it walked back into the house, so I don't know what's going on with that. Just basically closed the dang door. It's what has to do with that. So there's all kind, and then there's another cat that seems to be showing up, a third cat. But my lovely friend said no. She said no, 2 cats, that's enough. And I said good. Do you want a possum? She said no. Possums eat bugs, don't they? That's what I heard. They like termites and stuff. Which maybe it's good to have a possum, if that's the case. Who needs termites? This is a very important podcast to be listening to. So you're trying to avoid middle-age spread. Create healthy habits when you're young. Don't wait until you're 50 to start eating right and working out. The easiest way to... You know what? No. I'm not going to finish this sentence. Because you know what? When you're young, you should eat all the bad stuff. And then when you get to be my age, you're like, yeah, you know what? I ate the fattening stuff. It was all right. I got my fill. I'm done. I don't have to have it anymore. You got to be mature about it. Because as you get older, the more stuff you leave behind. The guy who created, as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we're bringing a Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro, Valleymont, he created a lot of it wasn't Chuck E. Cheese, it was the competitor to Chuck E. Cheese, Showtime or something, Showtime Pizza. He was an amazing robot maker. He could make those animatronic creatures. He did such a good job with it. And apparently, he had come up with all these different inventions and stuff he was trying to sell. And one of them was this clown. There would be like an information booth clown. And he said, yeah, it was supposed to be a clown that would answer questions and kids would love it. It'd be great. But he made it back in the 70s. And this is before, what's his name? The serial killer, and then all the scary movies, and Stephen King's It, and all the rest. So now he says, you start off young. This was his way of looking at it. You start off young, and, you know, it's pure, it's innocent. But then as time goes by, something that was supposed to be pure and innocent turns out to be evil. He goes, we don't start out evil, we get evil the older we get. He goes, look at pictures of me when I was younger, and look at me now. I look like an evil scientist now. He basically said that, which isn't always true. I mean, yes, the older you get, you can kind of... I think to combat what he's saying is to smile more and be nicer. The older you get, you should become nicer. You should be a good person the older you get. Not eviler, kinder, gooder. You should be gooder and not badder. And also be better with your grammar, like I am, apparently. Not. So, all that to consider. He also had... he was pretty bitter about this guy, this animatronics maker person. He was pretty bitter about a lot of he had an idea. One of the things that he had come up with was he wanted to compete against Chuck E. Cheese. So he had all these animals that were singing on stage, but he didn't want any of them to be a mouse because Chuck E. Cheese is a mouse. And one of the people that was paying for his services to make this stuff said, no, we want a mouse. Take that girl figure, the creature that was, I think it was a fox or a squirrel or something. Make her into a mouse, so we'll have a female mouse. And he's like, why do that? Everybody else has a mouse. And the guy said, exactly. All the big animatronics people have mice. So you've got Mickey Mouse, you've got Chuck E. Cheese, so we've got to have a similar mouse. And he said that just angered him so much. But he goes, you know what? I'm going to cave on this because everybody thinks I'm stubborn and I'm difficult. So I'll cave on this and they'll realize that I'm not stubborn and difficult to work with. But you know what? In the end, everyone still called him stubborn and difficult. According to this guy, he said, yeah, no matter what I did, I still was considered to be stubborn and difficult. So I might as well have not caved on the mouse girl creature to begin with. Just kept her a squirrel. And that makes me think about how a lot of people are considered one thing and they try to change it, but they're still considered this one thing. And I, for the most part, am considered a pretty easygoing guy, and I like that. I would rather be that than be someone difficult. But people that are difficult, they get certain doors open for them. They're the squeaky wheels that get the oil. And I was telling someone today who is a very nice person, very kind. Everyone thinks highly of this person, but yet this person never squeaks, never makes the squeaky noise, never makes a lot of noise about something. So this person continues to have to work and do other people's jobs when this person should be allowed a better, things, less stress in their life. Well, don't wait until you're 50 to start eating right and working out, says this. The easiest way to have a good habit is when you're old. The easiest way to have good habits when you're older is to start them when you're young. Then simply adapt them as your body changes. You might feel challenged trying to change your diet or find time in your schedule to exercise. Remember that practice makes perfect, so start every day. Okay, some of that sounds right. You do have to start and make it an everyday thing and not say I'm going to put it off till whenever. I get that part of it. Acknowledge that your body is changing. With age come changes in your hormones and metabolism. You'll start to lose muscle mass and gain a little more fat overall, which means your body doesn't burn calories like it used to. The first step to preventing unwanted weight gain is recognizing that you may need to improve your habits just to keep your current shape. Start eating a healthier diet, increase your amount of physical activity, or both. If you have always lived a healthy lifestyle, keep it up. Do not be discouraged if it becomes harder to maintain your fitness and shape over time. Seek out supportive people. That was kind of what we spoke about last podcast, about trying to get your goals done. You need a buddy. Have a gym buddy or a walking partner and hold each other accountable for getting your exercise. You'll find it easier to maintain good habits when supportive people are involved. Help your friends and colleagues avoid middle-age spread too. Set a challenge to all lose weight and keep fit together. Get enough sleep. We've talked about that all the time. Avoiding caffeine after 4 o'clock or earlier if you're sensitive to caffeine. Follow a regular sleep schedule. Go to bed and wake up around the same time each day. Don't nap too much during the day. Use your bedroom only for sleeping and to train your brain that bed means sleep. And don't watch TV in the bedroom. Develop a relaxing bedtime routine. Have a warm bath. Read a book. Give yourself a... What? Okay, I'm not going to read that. Wow. Have a cup of decaf tea. I'll say that part. What did it say, Mike? Well, you can go to wikihow.com to find out. And Look up avoid middle age spread. WikiHow.com is where I got that from. Decrease your caloric intake. Yeah, that's true. We don't realize how much calories. If you become more mindful of what you're eating, what kind of calorie count is in what you're eating, then simply doing that can help you lose a lot of weight right off the bat. Replace your bad fats with good fats. Instead of butter, use olive oil, which contains good fats that are much healthier for you. Replace red meat like beef and pork with poultry like chicken or turkey, or fatty fish, which have good fats and lots of nutrients. Salmon, mackerel, herring, sardines. Get protein from unsalted nuts, seeds, soy, and beans. Limit eating takeout or fast food to once a week. I don't really eat soybeans too much. That's an interesting thing. Base your meals on fruits and vegetables and whole grains. Cut down on sweets. Minimize your alcohol. And allot 75 to 150 minutes a week for healthier activities. 30 minutes a day for at least 5 days a week is what they're saying, how that breaks down. Half an hour a day for at least 5 days a week. Do some aerobic activity that helps increase your heart rate and breathing rate. And that helps you keep weight off by burning calories and minimize your risk for heart disease and diabetes. And add strength training. That's, okay. But be careful with that. And I would definitely consult a doctor or physician or somebody before you do any of that. Get at least 10,000 steps a day. I don't do that. I try to get at least 5,000 a day. But if you could do 10,000, you definitely would lose weight. And watch TV less than 2 hours a day. Okay, well, I am wrapping this up, everybody, because we're outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, the last place on earth. That was from WikiHow. And look who, Wiki. W-I-K-I, how. Like Wikipedia, but it's WikiHow. Just in case you didn't know, or you thought that was someone's name. Look who's here.
Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, gift osteoarizer. I hope I don't ever reach middle age, Mike Matthews. Because then I'm going to get fat.
Okay, look who else is here. That's very encouraging, by the way. Hello, Mike. This is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer, Mike. I hope you don't feel like a middleman around us. No, I feel like a blessed man. Next show, it'll be the wonderful Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. Chime in about anything that we covered. 336mm daily. 3 + 3 = 6mm as in Mike Matthews. Daily as in what this podcast has been. Now for a couple of days, look at us.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Okay, it's going. Actually, Mike was wrong. It's FF episode 2297. 2297.
Or 2,000.
2,297.
Hey, congratulations on getting married soon.
Thanks.